Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel again. So this is the chapter 4 of the Zero to Hero series that I have created for newly people in the UiPath जो लोग नए आ रहे हैं उनके लिए and जो veterans हैं they just wanna refresh your topics तो उनके लिए भी ये series है and we are covering the automating developing professional जो certification है that we are covering UiADP and UiADA that we are covering here in my channel. Okay, let's get started. So for that let's create a new process, chapter I can say 4, right? And in this we'll be explaining what are global constants and what are global variables as directed by the academy. Okay, global constants and global variables. Let's create it. Okay, so guys in the last video I have explained that what are arguments and how we can use them to pass information within one workflow to another workflow, right? And now we'll be seeing what are global variables and global constants in UiPath. Let's take the same example of calculator that was previously used in our example of arguments. So let's use a log message over here. So in this example it's really very simple. I won't be using any input activities, right? Just a simple demo of what are global arguments, sorry, global constant and global arguments as well. Okay, yeah, so I will say that enter the assigning the numbers, right? And let's use assign activity over here and let's give it 10. Okay, and let's use another assign activity over here. Let's give it 5. Pretty simple variables, right? So now we are not creating variables over here. Will be creating variables over here in the data manager section. On the right hand side top you can see, sorry, bottom you can see the data manager section is over here. यहाँ पे हम अपने क्या है variables create कर सकते हैं that are global. यहाँ पे हम अपने normal variables create कर सकते हैं, but the global variables what they can be used to transfer the data between workflows just like arguments, right? But we use arguments just in case. It's a good practice to use arguments in UiPath for transferring data between one workflow to another workflow. But just in case, I'm telling you what are global constants and variables, so that if you need, you have the need, you can use them in your business automation scenarios. You just go on the right hand side, click on this variables, and यहाँ पे आपको new variable करके यहाँ पे आ जाएगा. तो let's create a variable. Let's create क्लिक करेंगे, यहाँ पे आ जाएगा वेरिएबल 1. सो एज फॉलोइंग द गुड प्रैक्टिस वी विल बी यूजिंग इंट अंडरस्कोर आई विल से num1 एंड द डेटा टाइप ऑफ द वेरिएबल विल बी int 32. ठीक है, इंटीजर टाइप वेरिएबल है. द स्कोप, नाउ गाइज द मेन थिंग है, अभी स्कोप हमें कहाँ पे रखना है? अगर मेन पे रखना है तो इट विल बी द सेम वेरिएबल जो हम यहाँ बनाते हैं. If I'll be clicking on global, it will be what globally available to me in any of the workflows, in any of the sequences, in any of the flow charts, any of the state machine, etc, etc. Okay, so let's click on global and आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे global के अंदर मेरा int और उसको num यहाँ पे available है variable, right? When we are not going to give the default value because we will have already given the default value here. Let's create another variable. Click here and let's say int num2. Okay, this will be int 32 and again we'll be indicating the scope to global. Okay, right? Okay, so we have two variables over here, right? Int num1 and int num2. Okay, let's give it int num1. Now you can see that it is showing property global variables dot int num1 as integer because it is written over there on the right hand side that it is integer. Data type is int 32. Let's go here int num1 and let's go here int num2. Pretty simple, guys. Yeah, but now we will not be adding them into here because then it won't be any use of showing that what it can do. We'll be creating another sequence quickly and let's say calculation, something like that, create it. And now here in this I'll be using assign activity here, and I'll just say int. See, now without using arguments I can access these variables over here. So this is the beauty of global variables. In any scenario you guys can use it. अभी error इसलिए आ रहा है because मैंने यहाँ पे assign activity में to value पे कुछ नहीं रखा हुआ है, right? So let's create another variable over here and I'll give this name int sum. I don't know, whenever I make videos, I always yawn. I don't know. If I have completed my sleep also, then also I yawn. I don't know why. Int underscore sum in 32, and then again it will be global. Why global? Because we will be printing the output to the main workflow, right? Int sum, right? Simple. So this is what, just adding these numbers and pushing into sum, and this sum will be called over here, right? Okay. Now okay, right. So let's quickly call over this workflow, right? And we are not using any arguments, guys. We have to call the workflow, but we're not using any arguments. See, no arguments over there. Okay, and let's use a simple right line activity, and let's say int sum, because it's an integer. To convert an integer, I told you guys to use dot to string. Okay, so now we have the workflow completed. Just a small demo what are global variables here. We'll be jumping into global constant a bit later in this video only, don't worry. Okay, so save this as well, and just run this workflow. Okay, so it's run and it ran, and the output is 50. You guys can see on the top in the bottom left side, right? So I don't know why it happens, but it happens. Okay, so in the calculation you guys saw that int, we pushed these two integer variables to the int sum variable, and it pushed to the main workflow after I called it, and it showed the output as 15 because it's a summation of 10 plus 5 is 15. Okay, pretty simple, guys. Not at all hard or not at all rocket science that what is this all. No, it's just a method to create variables, right? And let's see what are global constants. Okay, as you know that we can change the value of variables, but in constants we can't change the value. We have to define it first, and it will be same throughout the project, throughout everywhere, right? So let's quickly minimize the variables and go to constants over here. New constant, and let's say int underscore let's quickly delete these parts, right? I'll just delete this variable. So I'll be using now constants, so delete it and delete it again, right? Obviously it will be showing some errors, but no worries, they will be minimized just in a second. Num1 data type will be what? Number. Okay, and the default value, see, we have to give a default value over here, right? So I'll just say 10. Int num is prepared. Okay, this value is 10, and it's saying that is read only because just and we have to delete it again. And in here we'll go to here. Int num1 is there, sum is not defined. Okay, no worries. Click on constants and int num2, default value will be 5, and just it will be showing a number. Oh, sorry, I didn't give it the default value, right? Yeah, 5, enter. Okay, 5 and 10 are the two numbers, and it's saying that it's just not declared, that is why. Just give this part constant int underscore sum. Okay, let's do one thing. See, we don't have to it is global, we know, because we are using in both the workflows, but we can't we can't change this value. So let's do one thing. Save it. Let's quickly, don't use this. Nice. Let's do this part. Int num1 plus int num2 not to string and dot to string. Okay, I believe this is very fine, guys. So these are what? These are constants. Their value won't be changed. So if you have a business scenario where you want a constant, which you want a variable which value shouldn't be changed, so you should be choosing a constant over there, right? So let's quickly go with this. Run file, and our output is 105. Why it is 105? Just 1 second. 10 and 5, right? We used int num1 is 10 plus int num2 is 5. Okay, I did a very silly mistake, because see, if we'll convert these both to a string, so they won't be added, they will just be used as string. So 10 and 5 is 105. 10 5 is 105, so that is why it is showing 105 in the output. So the best way will be int num1 plus int num2 bracket home bracket and let's now we are doing what? We are just adding all these two numbers as an integer and then converting it to string. First I did what? I used this constant, I converted it to string, then add this, converted to string again, so they are both converted into string. So any string will be just added like this, they will be added like this, they won't be summed, right? So now I think it will be showing the right answer. 15 it is, yeah. So I hope, guys, that you knew that what are global variables, how I can use them. I showed a classic example of calculator again without using the arguments, and in the global constants also I showed you that their values won't be changed. You can use them anywhere in the workflow. You don't have to use arguments if you are using any global constant or global variables, right? So this was it for this session. In the next part, we will be doing, I'll just see that what is it in the next part, guys. So let's quickly go over here. Okay, so we were at this part, this is completed. Let's quickly overview that what we'll be doing in the next part. Something like loops and all, I think it's in the control flow. For loop, while loop, do while loop. So I'll be showing a classic example. Yep, we have the very important session. It will be on if, for each, while, switch, everything, right? So we will be doing it now. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for being here. And if you like the content, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Please support me, guys. Okay, I just wanted all the knowledge I have on UiPath should be transferred to you guys, right? And many people I have seen that वो मुझे बोलते हैं कि मुझे basic से पढ़ना है, basic से पढ़ना है, basic से पढ़ना है. तो here it is, guys, just grab this opportunity, see all my videos till the end, and you will be learning UiPath in no time. Thank you so much for being here, and as always, keep learning.